Hi there, it is time for Content Aware Fill, my second most favorite tool in all of Photoshop, and it's a way to magic away rubbish, say goodbye to windmills, but I use it most for magicking up new sky that didn't exist before. We'll look at a couple of other handy ones where there's text that's fused to the background, goodbye, and those birds that we wrestled with in the last video. See you later. All right, it's quick, it's easy, let's learn how to do it now in Photoshop. All right, to get started, let's go to O5 cropping and open up Content Aware Fill 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're gonna start at 1, okay, and we're gonna remove this trash here. For the Content Aware Fill to work, you need to have a selection first. I'm just gonna use the lasso tool. You can make any sort of selection and you can be pretty rough with it. Look at this. Rough all the way back to the beginning. And they hide this magical tool, my favorite tool in all of Photoshop. Okay, Content Aware Scale is my main one. This is a close second. So under Edit Fill, this is where they hide this magical tool. It'll probably default to Content Aware, so just make sure. Click OK, kick back. Be amazed, look at that. Deselect, gone. Just so you know, I'm gonna undo, and it's very similar, well, it uses the same technology as your spot healing brush. So there's times where you need to do a selection because it's quicker and easier, and like in this case, or just grab the spot healing brush, you can see it's set to Content Aware, and you kind of just paint this out. It depends what is easier for you, but we get to the same position, kind of randomly grab stuff from the background and pile it all in here. Let's jump to Content Aware Fill 2. So I'm going to do a selection here again. I'm going to use my polygonal, I want to say polygonal. I'm not sure how to say that one. Okay, one with the straight lines. Clicking once, clicking once, clicking once, clicking once, clicking once. So I want to get rid of these guys. These are windmills. I know what they are. So once you've got your selection, edit. I use Content Aware Fill so much that I made a shortcut. If you're on a PC, you'll have a good shortcut here. Just check what it is, I can't remember. On a Mac, it's some random shortcut that on my computer opens up something like iTunes or something silly. So I went through and added my own shortcut by going to keyboard shortcuts and making one. You can see I've got shortcuts for Content Aware Scale and Fill because I use it so often. Okay, so Command-Shift-C is my one. Click OK, and it goes and removes it. And sometimes, can you see, undo. It randomly grabbed that and stuck it here and went, oh, let's put that there. So sometimes it does some strange things. To get around that, I'm gonna undo. If you just kind of like, I'm gonna minus just a little bit of selection out of this, maybe a bit of this. If you have a slightly different selection, you'll get a slightly different fill. Click OK, hopefully we get no tree. Got a tree. I guess my main point is that it's you might have to do a second selection to get a different result. What I want to show you now though is a tool that is really closely associated. I find in these courses I have to separate tools out so that I guess you can see the definition between them or the different use cases. But there are some tools that have very similar functionalities, but they're hidden in different places. So the spot healing brush we just showed you there, we did that in the Essentials course, and we did it, I showed you here just to remove the trash. Another really similar tool is hiding underneath the spot healing brush. It's called the patch tool. We'll do a short explanation here. The patch tool has some other perks that we'll do in the retouching section. Okay, later on in this course, I think it's section 10. But this tool here is exactly like the Content Aware, except it's a lot more what I call intentional. I can click, hold, and drag this, okay, and I can move it around. Instead of like trying to grab more trees like this guy, I can say, actually, I want this part, and you can line it up perfect. And you can see the sky doesn't work until I let go, and it magics it all in. Deselect, I've grabbed that specific bit. It's blended the sky okay. You can see there's this little bit. I guess I just want to show you that the spot healing brush, the patch tool, the Content Aware Fill all use a similar sort of technology. Content Aware Fill though is kind of more randomized. So it really depends on what you need to do. Now what I use it for most is generating kind of new backgrounds. Okay, in this case it's going to be sky, it might be grass, waves, trees, great for nature. I'll put some text in the sky. So I'm going to grab the crop tool, just drag it up. In the past or in previous classes, we use Content Aware Scale. That'll probably work, but I want to show you another technique. So I've got a big empty area, grab my marquee tool. I'm going to overlap it, so make sure it overlaps. Otherwise it ends up being a nice little line that joins. So overlapping, edit, Content Aware Fill, fill it up, and magic. And I've got a new sky. Now I left this one in here because there's a little bit of banding. It's just like a perfect sky, so there's a little bit of obvious kind of banding going on, and I'll show you how I get around that. If it's just one or two pieces, you could use the spot healing brush or the blur tool, which is there. There's a lot to do in this one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select a big chunk of it, make sure it overlaps quite a bit, copy it and paste it. And with that layer selected, I'm going to go to Filter, Blur, and good old Gaussian blur. Cool, how much? It's up to you. I just want to move it up until the banding, those little kind of rivers stop running, and click OK. The cool thing about Gaussian blur is you can see there it's added a bit of a fade. It's not going to work on everyone, but I wanted to, I guess, show you how I would fix it in this case. Often if it's clouds, it just does a perfect job. So look at the last one, Content Aware Fill 4. I do this as well. So I'm a certified instructor for Photoshop, right? So we get given marketing material that we get to use. Sometimes it comes through the official Adobe channels. It takes a long time at least. And I see all these cool graphics that they're using and I want to use it straight away. Let's say that I want to use this. I'm allowed to, it just hasn't come through the official channel yet. So I want to remove this. It might be that you've got sent something from a client. They're like, hey, can you do this? And you're like, the text is fused to it. You can see there's no layers going on. It's actually just jammed onto it. The problem is if I grab the eyedropper tool and pick kind of some part of the blue and then try and fill it, it's going to be very obvious, right? So I need that gradient, and that's where Content Aware Fill is magic. Content Aware Fill, click OK, goodbye text. Cool, huh? Content Aware Fill is awesome. Let's have a little look. We did this. Content Aware, remember this one? Content Aware Move. So we moved these guys and reshaped them. I just want to show you this one because you don't have to do them one at a time. Okay, I'm going to switch to the other lasso tool. So you can see holding down the plus key and I'm just drawing really rough guys around here. Let's say instead of moving these guys, we want them out. You're like, you ruined my shot, bird. You're out of here. So make lots of selections, Content Aware Fill, Kickback, does an amazing job. All right, that's it for Content Aware Fill. What an amazing tool, super easy to use. It's just hidden under Edit and Fill. We know where it is now though. I'll see you in the next video.